So in this guided demonstration, we'll define a key flex field, and we'll go through the entire process of defining a new key flex field structure and enabling the segments within a new structure. So I'll start with invoking the browser. This is the URL of our Oracle applications installation. I'll log in as user operations. I'll go to application developer responsibility and click on segments underneath the key flex fields definition submenu. Now I'll query the existing flex field definition, which is part of the seed data. It's defined under general ledger application, and the flex field title is accounting, say control F11, and I'll go in and create a new, I'll call it XX operations flex field. XX operations flex field. Now this, I'm defining a new structure, so I've given it a structure code, I've specified a title, and I've also given a description of what this structure is all about. When I click on segments, so this is the window wherein I'll enable all my segments. So my first segment represents my company. And this is where I'll select the segment. This is the column in the table wherein the value of the company segment will be stored. And then I'll select the value set. So I'll say, so the value set is a predefined value set, and I'm not defining a new value set, idea being that we are relying on the seeded value sets for this particular demonstration. So I'll select operations company. It's an independent value set. It accepts character values, and the length is 2 characters. So displayed will ensure that this particular flex field segment is displayed in various Oracle forms and user interfaces. And if the segment is in use, this enable checkbox should be checked. When I click on open, by default any new segment will be turned as required. Now in case for all the accounting flex field segments, we should make them all required. They are not optional. But if you are defining any other flex field which will be used, let's say, as a list of value for descriptive flex fields, you can turn it off, which makes this particular segment value optional. Now when I click on flex field qualifiers, I have to save the record first. Now when I click on Flexfield qualifiers, I see all these predefined seeded qualifiers. Now this particular company segment is my balancing segment, so I want all my journals to be balanced by the balancing segment. So I'll qualify this segment as the balancing segment within this Flexfield structure. I say yes. I close this window. So I have defined one segment out of a total of 6 segments that we'll be defining for this particular Flexfield structure. So our second segment will be the department segment. So I keep the prompt. I'll say segment 2 is the column, and then I go in and choose an existing value set for department. Now this particular segment is being qualified as the cost center segment, and we'll understand the implication of qualifying a segment as a cost segment later in some of the detailed discussions. So I save this record. Our third segment will be the account. Say segment 3, operations account. This will be qualified as our natural account, and as I mentioned, we'll go into the details of each of these qualifiers later as part of detailed discussions. So our segment 4 is sub account, and I'll use a hyphen to separate these values. I'll mark it as segment 4, or else use say OK. I'll say save, open, and this particular segment doesn't map to any of the qualifiers. Our fifth segment is product. Segment 5, operations, product. I'll save this, and again this doesn't have any qualifier. The last segment is intercompany. Now typically intercompany segment will use the same value set as the company, so I'll use operations company. I save this, and when I go to the details, this will be qualified as my intercompany segment. So I save the transaction. So this way I have defined all the 6 segments that make up my chart of account structure. I have specified the columns that will be used to store these values. I've specified a value set which will be used to validate the values as they are entered as part of setups and transactions downstream. And we have specified qualifiers. So to summarize, out of the 6 segments, segment 10, which is company, is qualified as the balancing segment. Segment 20, which is department, is qualified as cost center. Segment 30, account, is qualified as the natural account. And then we have segment 60, which is intercompany segment, and this has been qualified as an intercompany segment. So we have defined all these segments. Now what we'll do is while we are defining a new Flexfield structure, we can specify what will be the segments separator. So in this structure we have enabled 6 segments, and we can specify what will be the segments separator, whether it will be a dash, a period, a pipe, or we can pick and choose a custom separator. So in this case we leave it as default, which is a dot. And then another important checkbox while defining a new structure is allow dynamic inserts. For now we won't go into the details of this, and we'll keep it as part of future deep dives into some of this specific functionality. So what we'll do is we'll click on the free segment Flexfield definition checkbox, which implies that we have defined the structure segments, and this particular key Flexfield structure is ready to for use within the application. So once we have checked the free Flexfield definition, we'll do a save here. And once we do a save, it starts compiling. So there's a background process that is submitted in response to the save. And we got this message. And if I go in and view the requests that was submitted, can see that so these requests haven't been these were submitted today evening, and they are in the pending state. So what I'll do is I'll go in and check the status of the concurrent managers. So through this system administrator responsibility, under concurrent I go to manager and I click on administer, and I see internal manager. I'll query for standard manager. So I see actual target requests. So your requests, fine. Yeah, so the requests have completed without any error, which implies that our Flexfield structure has been successfully compiled. So this completes our short demo on how to define a new accounting Flexfield structure.